My name is Nathan Wallace, and I'm going to present to you my contemporary issue presentation about graphene. All right, I know he's already heard about graphene, but so I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about graphene. All right, it's a material that we recently discovered. In about 2004, they discovered it, and it's a material that we've tested so much and have determined that it's just so amazing. And I'll describe that to you in a little bit, but pretty much it's a single sheet of carbon atoms all connected, and it's just like a little, like spider web work. And what happens is sheets of it all on top of each other are graphite, but the problem is it's so hard to isolate a single sheet of graphene. And the problem, and it was actually discovered based from some PhD students in London at the University of Manchester, I believe it was. They had a piece of Scotch tape and a graphite pencil, and they literally just shaved down the pencil shavings and just stuck the tape on it, and you have that thin little layer. You know what I'm talking about? That thin little layer of graphite is really graphene because it's down at the single most layer. And I'm gonna go on now to why it is so amazing. It's a material of extremes. All right. So after we've done testing on it, it is the strongest material that we've ever measured. I can't remember exactly what the number is. Oh, okay, there. A tensile stiffness of 150 million psi. That's 100 to 300 times stronger than steel. All right. Now this is a single layer of carbon atoms. It's the thinnest material we know of as well, obviously, because it's only one atom thick. And then also, it's the best conductor of heat at room temperature, as well as the best conductor of electricity ever recorded. And also the lightest. So when I say it's literally a material of extremes, I mean it's literally extreme in every aspect. It blows the charts on everything we've ever measured. So, I mean, obviously we want to use this stuff, right? Somehow, some way we want to get our hands on this. Now that's the problem, right? All right. So the problem is, it's just so expensive to make. But we have all these applications that we can use it for. We're already all thinking about it now, right? Some applications of it would be, it's the best conductor of electricity. We can make some super batteries out of this. That would have to do with your biofuels and all that kind of stuff, Obviously, the better batteries we can make, the more electricity power we can use without burning oil and all that kind of stuff. So some studies have been done on its effects on batteries. Graphene, they've seen that it can probably increase the battery life of lithium-ion batteries currently in use now by about 10-fold. Also, it doesn't sacrifice any volume because graphene is so small that it really does, if it's used as an anode, it doesn't matter because it's just so tiny that we don't have to sacrifice the size of the batteries. We can probably even make them smaller. So another thing is that they want to use it for superconductors. A big problem they've been having in electrical engineering recently, so I've read, because we're not electrical engineers, but they've been having a big problem with superconductors. Although they've been making a lot of advances, the problem is they're getting to the point where it's so compact that they can't fit any more power while making it smaller still. So they believe that since this conducts electricity so well and it has all the properties that it does, that they can make some really hardcore supercapacitors out of these things if they can actually get enough of it, if they can get their hands on enough of it. Another application, which is actually surprising, is they're looking into putting it in paints because it would be such a good anti-erosion material because it's so strong and so resistant, and it's very inert because it's just pure carbon. So they're thinking about incorporating it into mini paints, including cars, houses, all kinds of stuff, because it would just prevent erosion altogether. Also, they want to make building materials out of it. Obviously, it's 100 to 300 times stronger than steel, so that's absurd, right? I mean, so then we really run into what are the problems, right? Why can't we just start using this right away? So the process used to obtain this stuff, all right, it's called chemical vapor disposition, all right, and it's very, very expensive. They boil all these super toxic chemicals, and it's in the presence of titanium and platinum and metals like that, and also there's some benzene in there as well, and it forms a tiny little monolayer of graphene over the surface of this metal, right? Well, the problem is you only get one layer for the whole thing. The whole process, you only get one little layer across the whole thing, right? So that's the big problem why they haven't been able to get a ton of this stuff to actually use. It'd be way too expensive. And obviously, as engineers, we have to be worried about the cost as well. We can't just start making a bunch of really expensive stuff. So, luckily for us, this year in February, a PhD student at Delft University in the Netherlands actually discovered a way to make endless sheets of this stuff by using copper and methane instead of platinum, titanium, and those with benzene. And he's actually found a way to make endless sheets of this stuff. Now he's going to defend his thesis, so hopefully it's actually true. But if it is true, there's going to be a massive race to see who can make as much of this stuff as humanly possible and use it in as much stuff as they possibly can. One thing I forgot to mention about applications is Samsung has already filed 17 patents with the use of graphene in smartphones and TVs. So they're pretty much already getting ready to start using this stuff. And they've already made a couple prototypes, which I have pictures of in a little bit. So pretty much another thing I forgot to mention, the new process that this guy developed, it reduced the cost of the chemical vapor disposition by a factor of 1,000. So that's pretty good, I would say. So, I mean, here's some visual representations of graphene. This one, I think this is just an Apple Watch prototype that they made. This is an actual prototype that they had. This is a Samsung smartphone. It's actually flexible. So the one thing about this graphene stuff is it's flexible. It's so thin and it's so strong that it's flexible, but it still has all of its properties electrically. So that's why the stuff's so amazing. We want to get our hands on it. Obviously, there's a ton of other stuff you can use it for. They were looking into replacing Kevlar with it, obviously, because it's super strong. And I'm trying to remember the other one, but I can't remember right now. So that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, also, shit, I forgot. The environmental impact is next to nothing because carbon is the fourth most abundant element in our universe and the second most abundant element in our bodies. So this stuff would leave relatively zero environmental impact. So it's biodegradable. All right, now does anyone have any questions?